You know, I paid $6,000 to put an advertisement in this newspaper for a few months, and what have I gotten from it? I don't get any phone calls. I don't even know if anybody has seen my ad. I mean, they give me lots of circulation numbers. They say 100,000 newspapers were circulated, and out of that, 250,000 people see my advertising. But I'm not getting any phone calls. What's that about? I wish there was some form of advertising out there that I could pay for and I could see the results. I could see how many people are seeing the advertising. I could see how many people are interested in the advertising, and I could really track what's happening. I mean, this, I just write a check and then there it goes. I wish there was some type of advertising that would give me more control. Could you feel the passion, the irritation I have for normal advertising in that opening bit? When I had Eli, the computer guy, at the storefront, I had billboards, I ran radio ads, I dealt with television people, I ran newspaper ads, I ran magazine ads, I did door hangers, value packs, every type of advertising that you could do, I pretty much did. And I didn't do it cheap. It was expensive. $6,000 was the minimum of my costs. And the results were really flippin' abysmal. I mean, there might be some kids out there, so I can't really say what I want to say, but for the amount of money that I spent on that advertising, it was horrendous. It was disgusting. Those ad reps should just hang their head in shame, because the results really were that bad. One of the things I found, though, was web advertising. Advertising on the internet, dollar for dollar, is 1,000 times better than every other form of advertising that I did. Not only that, but the nice part about advertising on the internet is that you can really track what's happening. You know exactly how many impressions your ad has had. So you know how many people have seen your ad. You know how many people click through and actually see your website. You can see how long they stayed on your website when they clicked through, and then did they call you, did they email you. Basically, with web advertising, one, dollar for dollar, it's the best. We'll go into that with Google AdSense. And then two, it gives you control and allows you an amount of power over your advertising no other advertising venue gives you. All the other advertising venues, you may sit down, you may have a few hours worth of meetings, but let's face it, once you cut that check, it's basically out of your hands. You might be able to call up, complain every once in a while, get a couple of changes done, like maybe every other week. But with web advertising, if you see that there's a problem, you can change something that minute. You can change something every minute for 60 minutes. You can do a lot of things that every other form of advertising just can't help you with. So this class is Intro to Web Marketing, and we're going to go over the basic principles of web marketing and how you can use it for your business. As we start this class, you're going to need a little bit of vocabulary. Just a couple of words, a couple of acronyms. The first acronym you need to know is something called CPM. What CPM is the cost per 1,000 impressions. So this is how much it costs for an advertisement to be seen 1,000 times on a web page. So if you're paying, let's say, $10 per CPM, you will pay $10 per 1,000 times your ad shows up on a web page. The next acronym you need to know is CPC. This is cost per click. So this is how much it costs you every time somebody clicks an ad on the website that you're advertising in and goes to your website. So it can be shown 1,000,000 times. So 1,000,000 people go to the website, nobody clicks on your ad, you don't pay anything. You only pay when somebody actually clicks on your ad and goes to your website. The last acronym that you need to know is CTR. It's click-through rate. And so this is the average of how often people click through to your website. So if there's 1,000 impressions and you only get 10 clicks and 1,000 impressions, the click-through rate is 1%. So it's a percent, and it's the percentage of the people that click through for the impressions on a given website. So if you know those 3 words, you'll be doing good. CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, CPC, cost per click, and CTR, click-through rate. Okay, now of course we have to do the warnings, because this is one of those subjects that if you go and you use it incorrectly, you can do a lot of damage to yourself and cost yourself a lot of money. So just relax. Don't start looking at AdSense quite yet. Don't start looking at putting up banner ads. The first warning is that this is an introductory class. This is about the overall ideas around web marketing. This is not specific. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty. So even when you finish this class, you should be very, very careful about going into web marketing, because again, this is an introductory class. This is an overview. When you're done with this, you'll understand how it works. It doesn't necessarily mean you should be playing with it yet. The other warning is, if you do decide to play with web marketing, as I said in my web analytics class, you have to have web analytics up and running, and you have to understand how that works before you start doing web marketing. So web analytics gives you all the reports and gives you all the information about people coming to your website. You need that information in order to understand if your web marketing is working properly. If you do not have web analytics up and running, you have no place starting web marketing, literally. So if you do not have robust web analytics up and running on your website right now, do not start trying to do web marketing. You'll waste money. It'll be a flop. It really, really will be a flop. So get web analytics running up on your website. The freebie that you can use is something called Google Analytics. I did 2 classes about web analytics. There was an intro to web analytics and a web analytics in-depth. I would say watch those classes, set up Google Analytics, and then go from there. But make sure web analytics is up and running before you start doing web advertising. The last thing is, before you start really doing web advertising, before you start really pushing your business on the internet, make sure you have the email address and the domain name that you're going to stay with for the life of your business. So with EliTheComputerGuy.com, make sure that's the email, the domain name that everybody's going to be going to from here for the next 10 years. Because how the web works, things get what's called cached. They get stored in weird little places on the internet. And if you start doing web marketing and then you decide, I don't like my domain name, I don't like my email address, and you drop those entirely and go to a new one, you could have a lot of missed opportunities, because those original domain names and email addresses will be cached out there on the internet, in Google and Yahoo and other weird places that you don't even realize. People will click through. If you no longer have that domain name, they may be going to your competition, or they may just be going to just an error screen, and then nobody likes that. So make sure you stay with whatever email or web address that you want. When I was really pushing Eli the Computer Guy, I created a help at EliTheComputerGuy.com so that everybody wouldn't have my email address. And that's something to think about. So you may come up with a basic generic email address for your entire company. Let's say an info at your domain name, or a help at your name, or contact. The reason is because if your business grows, you don't necessarily want to be getting all those emails in 5 years. So if you start out with a generic email address for your company, then you can hand that off to your assistant or to somebody else when you have better things to do. I know, you're chomping at the bit. You wanna get into web marketing, but the first thing, before we get into the web marketing that I know you're thinking about, again, Google AdSense or banner ads, the first form of web marketing that is the best is just make sure that your website and your email address, that generic email address, are on all of your normal advertising. Too many people overlook this in their zeal to get to the fancy, cool stuff. But if you have a new website up, and if you have your new email address, make sure all of your business cards, all of your salespeople business cards, Anybody that has a business card in your company, it's going to be painful, but buy all new ones. Throw away the old ones. Throw them in the trash can. And the reason is because people keep things like business cards for a stupid amount of time. I know that, when I was running the shop, we would have people come in with advertising that was 4 years old. I mean, it used to be a joke. We used to collect my old advertising. My employees would look at these horrible pull tab signs or business cards or all of that. And, it was just fun to collect the old ones and to see what I had been doing 4 years ago. Because people really do keep your contact information that long. Basically, as soon as you get that website and that email address up and running, make sure your standard marketing has all this material. This is something that is overlooked. It's the advertising you're doing anyway. So at the end of the day, it actually is the cheapest form of web marketing, because you're just combining the normal marketing you're doing anyway with your website, and that brings in clients. That really brings in a lot of money and a lot of sales to your business. So make sure everything is on your normal marketing before you go off to the fancy stuff. Now, the first type of real web marketing that we're going to talk about is really easy to do and also very affordable. It's called email blasts or newsletters. This is where, hopefully, you've collected the email addresses of all your clients, and then periodically, once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 4 weeks, it's your decision on how often you do this, you send out this email blast to all of your current clients, telling them about new specials or new opportunities that you have with your business. This is a very affordable form of advertising, and it's great because you're hitting the clients that you already have. So if you've sold them something in the past, as long as you did a relatively good job with whatever that was, they're very likely to come back to you. The thing is, a lot of people forget, we all have busy lives, and so although they may have had a good experience with your company, they may just simply forget about you. So the next time they need the product or service you offer, if you're not at the top of their head, they may go to your competition, not because they really want to go to your competition, just because they're not thinking about you. So email blasts are a very easy way to advertise to your old clients, and also if you get any sales contacts, if you get the email address of those contacts, then you can keep sending them information, and hopefully if they don't buy something immediately, they'll buy something a month or two or a year from now. It is amazing how long people wait before they complete a sale. It's ridiculous. Now, for these newsletters, you're going to go out, and if you just do a Google search on the internet, there's a whole bunch of services and a whole bunch of software that allows you to do this. I would advise you, unless you're a computer geek, unless you're in the technology industry, to use a service that you pay for, something like Constant Contact. I think you pay like $30 a month for their service. The reason for this is Congress a few years ago passed something called the Can-Spam Act. So they passed very specific rules about how you send things to people, how people should be able to unsubscribe from your newsletters. They came up with the rules that people that don't know a lot about computers would come up with, because they're Congress. So you don't, especially if it's a small mailing list or even a large one, if you're sending out to 5,000 people, you don't want to do something dumb that could get the authorities or get you into problems, because there are a lot of little problems with spam and sending out newsletters and the whole 9 yards. So I would say just get a pay-for service. Like I say, Constant Contact, I think for 5,000 newsletters in a single blast is only about $30 per month. I think they have a free version. If you don't go with them, there are a lot of other options out there. Again, just Google it. The reason is because they will set everything up so that it's all A-OK legally. And then two, there's just some weird technical stuff with how you send out large amounts of emails. So how it works with the internet and how it works with systems is not the same. So when you send out an email to 5 people, it's not the same process or concept when you send out to 5,000 people. There are technical issues there. There's just weird stuff. So email blasts are a very good form of advertising to get to the clients that you already have, and to hopefully get to the sales contacts you've made. If you do decide to go with it, go for a subscription service, because that'll just be easier for you in the long run. Howdy, my name's Eli, and who are you? You know, I've got a few things to sell. Do you have a few things to sell? Yeah. The next thing that we're going to talk about is social networking. So social networking is all the stuff that you've heard about on the internet right now. It's all the rage. Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, well, YouTube sort of in it. All of these things can be very good forms of marketing. I will have another class entirely on social network marketing, because it's kind of a big subject area. But we're just going to gloss over it right now in this class. So what social networking is basically, it's big online communities that you get an account on, and then you make friends online. So with Facebook and MySpace, what happens is you go on and then you add all the friends that you have in the normal world. And then you start befriending other people on there, and if your interests are the same, sometimes you send messages. And if you haven't used Facebook, go use Facebook. It's kind of weird and complicated. If you've used Facebook, then you know what I'm talking about. So how you can use the social networking is you can also befriend your business clients. So something that's very useful and easy to do is you go on, you create your account on Facebook, which is the popular one right now. MySpace isn't so popular anymore. So you go on Facebook, you create your account, and then you befriend not only your friends, but all of your business clients. Why this is good is if they befriend you, you can post things on your wall that say, if you're having a sale, you can say, hey, we have too many of XYZ, we're having a sale today, half price. And now all the people that are your friends online see that, and then they'll come, and many of them may need that product, and so they come and they buy that. It's just a very easy form of advertising. So everybody that's your friends will see these little posts that you put up, and then they can decide whether or not they're interested in it. Again, it goes back to that whole thing about people forget about you, and when they actually need your help, sometimes they'll go to the competition simply because they forgot you existed. If every day you post something up on, let's say, Facebook, then they'll just keep you in the back of their minds, and when they need help, then they'll come to you. I personally use this for Facebook, where every time I do a blog post or I do a video, it gets posted onto my profile, and then anybody who is interested can then go and see what I'm talking about. It's absolutely 100% free. Once everything is set up, it takes you, 2 minutes a day to maintain, and you get clients and you get interest from it. So social networking is free, and again, once it's set up and you have it running, it brings you clients for free. It's easy to use. What I will warn you is, although this is the latest and greatest, and Facebook and Twitter and all this is wonderful, you are not going to get rich off of it, and you still need to do other normal advertising. I had one client of mine who had an event that was going to happen. He left the management of the event to one of his employees. One of his employees was on MySpace or Facebook or one of them, and he was paying good money to hold this event. And she said, well, I've advertised it all over Facebook, I've advertised it all over the social networks, we're going to have an insane amount of people here. Hundreds of people have agreed that they are going to come to this event. And he didn't know any better. He's 50 years old. He thinks, well, this young whippersnapper, she knows what she's talking about. So if this social networking thing can bring me a lot of business, hey, this is gonna be wonderful. And so he spent the money and he held the event. And he said it was the most depressing thing in his life when he was one of, I think, 5 people to be at the event. Because all of these people, all of these virtual people on the social networking sites that said they were going to be there, well, nobody showed up. So he spent all that money for a real event. This wasn't like some little cheesy experiment. This was a real event that he spent all that money on. He thought that he was going to get attendees from social networking, and it was a miserable flop. So that is the warning with social networking, is it's free, it's easy to use, easy to maintain, but don't oversell it. This is not the end all be all for advertising. It's one little component that can help you out, but yeah, don't oversell it. Now, one of the best ways to get traffic to your website is through organic searches. So organic searches are when people go to search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, AOL, and such, and they type in something that they need. So let's say they type in Baltimore laptop repair because they need a laptop computer repaired in Baltimore. Well, if your website is rated highly within Google or Bing and such, when they type that in, then your website will pop up on that first page of search results. So back when I was rocking and rolling, whenever somebody typed in Baltimore laptop repair or Baltimore Mac repair, my website would pop up on the very first page of the Google searches. Now this isn't the top part, this isn't the part you paid for, this is the free stuff. The reason is because I used something called SEO, Search Engine Optimization. What this means is that if you write your website properly, the search engines will rank it higher than other websites. So this has to do with things like keywords, this has to do with how many visitors come to your site. There are a number of factors that increase something that used to be called page rank. So the higher your rank within Google or Yahoo or Bing, the more likely you are to come up on that first page when somebody searches for some type of service, product or service that you provide. So in order to increase your page rank, you use this, what's called SEO, Search Engine Optimization. This is, again, an entire class unto itself. It has to do with things like keywords. It has to do with things called backlinks, how many links come to your site from other sites. There's a whole science to it, and you really never stop kind of jiggering with your website to make it perfect. But the cheapest and one of the best ways to get people to your site is organic search traffic, and you use SEO to gain that. Now, blogs are a very good way to get traffic to your website. It's good for SEO, search engine optimization, and it's also good to get your clients to come to your website and find out about information about the products and services that you're offering. So I know a lot of people think blogs are, I don't know, for depressed 15-year-old goth punks. But they're not. EliTheComputerGuy.com, my website is a blog. Blogs are simply very easy ways to publish information about material that you're interested in. So if you integrate a blog onto your website, you can talk about, again, your products, your services, changes in your field or your industry, and that many times will bring clients to your site to just read about what you think. I originally started my blog because as a computer person, I came up with a lot of set things that we had to do. We had to use certain types of antivirus software, certain types of backup software. There were certain procedures, certain costs. When people came to us, came to my store, a lot of times they would argue because they didn't understand why I had put in place the policies that I had put in place. So they would come in and they say, well, I think you're trying to sell me this antivirus just to make a few extra bucks, or I think you're trying to sell me this backup software just to make a few extra bucks. Well, by writing the blog posts, many of my clients would read my blog posts before they came to the store, so they already understood our mentality. So the antivirus software, they had already read my whole post on the argument of why I sold the antivirus software that I did sell. Or they already read the policy and understood why I implemented the policies that I had. So blogs are very good ways to integrate into your website so that when clients go to your site, not only do they see the static, we offer these products and these services, but they also see what you think about the world, what you think about the products, what you think about the services, where you think the industry is going, why you decide to sell one product versus another product. This is good because it gives your clients confidence that you know what you're talking about. The more that you write about your area of business, the more comfortable they feel that you're an actual professional. The more they feel you're an actual professional, the easier it is to close the sale. So blogs are very good forms of web advertising. Again, it goes into another class, but it really helps with SEO, search engine optimization. It's wonderful for increasing your page rank on things like Google, Bing, and Yahoo. And then when clients do go to your site, it shows that you're thinking about the topics of your products and services, and it really shows that you're more of a professional than probably your competitors are. Now we get to banner ads. Now we get to something that I'm sure you're thinking, hey, that's web marketing. That's what I want to hear about. Well, we're finally there. We're finally to banner ads. Banner ads are those horrible, gaudy, neon things that they shoved onto web pages. They're those big advertisements either on the top or the side of the web pages that you go to that are normally blinking or have videos or something's going on to try to get your attention. Now, to buy banner ads to advertise for your business, the easiest way to do this is most of the local like news outlets or media outlets in your area. They have advertising sales reps that sell those banner ads. So you will pay for either CPM, cost per 1,000 views, or generally for these banner ads. Your local media outlets rarely will do cost per click because frankly most of the banner ads, the return on investment is pretty poor. And that's one of the warnings I'm going to give you. Banner ads are not a great form of advertising for small businesses. I did some banner ads and they were abysmal. So what happens if you decide to buy a banner ad? You will go to your local city paper or your local radio station, your local TV station, and they will say, we have so many people that come to our website on a given day. We have 500,000 visitors on a single day, or 1 million visitors, or 100,000 visitors. So for X amount of money, you can pay per 1,000 impressions. And so it'll usually be a decent amount. You'll have to pay for 50,000 impressions, 100,000 impressions, somewhere along those lines. You're not going to buy 1,000 impressions. You're going to buy 50,000, 100,000. And it's probably going to cost you, probably about $500 per 50,000 impressions. What they're going to say when you buy that is they're going to say something like this, because this is what I was sold. The industry click-through rate is 1% to 1.6% depending on the quality of the advertisement. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. And when I bought my banner ad, I thought that wasn't too bad with a growing business. So I said 50,000 people are going to see my banner ad. And if 1% click through, that's 500 people that click through to my website and see my website. So although they may not stay around, maybe they don't need computer repair right now, at least that's 500 people that have come to my website and taken a look. So I paid my $500 and I got my 50,000 impressions and I got 16 clicks. Yes, you heard me right. I got 16 clicks out of 50,000 impressions. So I called back my advertising person and said, I don't understand what's going on. Do I still have more impressions left? What's up? I got 16 clicks. And what I was told, and this is what you will be told, is, I told what the industry average is. Our media doesn't have that average. At which point you say, well, what is your average? Well, I don't know. And that's where you have to be very careful with buying banner ads, So this is one of the reasons why you need that web analytics before you go into web marketing, because what they're going to tell you is 50,000 people saw your ad. Well, if nobody clicks through, it doesn't matter. So if you buy the banner ads, you go and you look at your web analytics, and they should have told you some number to expect, like I say, 1%, 0.5%, whatever percentages it is that you thought was acceptable. You then look on your analytics and you see if you got that amount of clicks. Did you get 500 visitors to your site? If you didn't get 500 visitors to your site, then you need to put their feet to the flames. So the banner ads are very easy to get. Like I say, if you're interested in doing it, all you need to do is go to your local newspaper, your local TV station, local radio station. They'll be more than happy to sell you the banner ads. When you buy it, you buy per 1,000 impressions, and you're going to start with 50,000 or 100,000 impressions. It's going to cost you at least $500. And so remember, though, you're not paying for clicks to your site. You're just paying for impressions. And so what you get at the end of the day may not be what you're expecting. So again, if you're a small business, if money's a little tight, hell, even if you have a lot of money, banner ads are probably not the way to go for you, but that's what they are, and that's how you get them. So now that you've heard about banner ads, one of my favorite forms of web marketing that's pretty inexpensive, but it's kind of random, it's good for branding, is something called StumbleUpon. So you go to StumbleUpon.com and you create a business account for yourself. Now what StumbleUpon is it's a little toolbar that people install into their web browsers, and you hit Stumble, and then it randomly sends you to different web pages. So you tell StumbleUpon what your interests are. Like for me, I put in, I'm interested in computers, small business, and politics. And then you say where you're at, so I say Baltimore, Maryland, and then you tell it your age, and so 33. So you give it that information, and then when you hit the Stumble button, it will randomly try to find websites that will suit your criteria, what you might be interested in. This is user-generated content, so when I find a site that I like, I click a little thumbs up button on that toolbar, and it gets added to all of the sites that StumbleUpon offers to its clients. Well, you can pay to have your website show up in these little stumbles. So you can tell StumbleUpon that you want, 39-year-old women in Baltimore that are interested in gardening. So all the women that have put that in as their information, if they hit Stumble, one of the sites that they may come to is your website. So you're considered a sponsored site, and they can take a look and see what your site's about. The good part with this is you only pay 5 cents per click or per stumble. So for $1 you get 20 people coming to your site. So this is a good way to bring a lot of people to your site very quickly. And again, you can geographically target it, you can target it towards people's interests, etc. So it's not the absolute best form of advertising, but if you're looking at branding, it's very inexpensive, and like I say, you can target it pretty well. So if you're thinking about an inexpensive way to do branding advertising, look at StumbleUpon. Now we're going to talk about the big daddy of web marketing, and that is Google AdWords. You can't beat Google AdWords. Nobody can beat Google AdWords. Comcast can't beat Google AdWords. NBC can't beat Google AdWords. Your local newspaper can't beat Google AdWords. Google AdWords is bar none the best advertising out there. So Google AdWords, if you don't know what it is you pay to show up within the search results when somebody does a search on Google. So again, Baltimore laptop repair. What I told you before about organic search results, those are the normal search results that pop up on the bottom of the screen. What you'll notice is on the top of the page, you'll see 3 different search results, and then along the side of the page, you'll see search results. These are AdWords. These are sponsored links, and so you can pay to show up within these links. What happens is Google has an auction system. So you say how much you're willing to pay for certain keywords. So let's say I would say I'm willing to pay up to $2 per click for Baltimore laptop repair. If somebody puts that in, I will pay up to $2 per click. Well, somebody else may say I will pay up to $1.50 per click for Baltimore laptop repair. Somebody else says $2.25, $5.50. You know, people are basically put all this information into Google AdWords, and then so when somebody types in Baltimore laptop repair, Google automatically does a little auctioning system, and then whoever wins the auction comes up first. Whoever is in second place comes up second, then third, then fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. I think it goes all the way to 100. So every time you click back on pages in Google, you'll still see those advertisements along the side, and so those are all the trailing people. With Google AdWords, the great part is you can geographically target where you're trying to get clients. So with me, when I had the storefront, I said I want a 15-mile radius from where my store is. So 15-mile radius, anybody who types in the keywords that I gave them, you know, Baltimore computer repair, Baltimore data recovery, Baltimore laptop repair, etc. Anybody who types the information in, I want people within the Baltimore area, within 15 miles of my store, to have my ads come up. What this means is my ads are not showing up in California, they're not showing up in Ohio, they're not showing up in Texas. They're only showing up 15 miles around where my store is. So this is a very important thing if you're dealing with a store, if you have a storefront, or if you're dealing with some kind of consulting or products or service that is in a small geographic area. Before you let AdWords loose, you know, when you set up everything, before you do anything, make sure you've done your geographic targeting, because if you haven't done your geographic targeting, it will be shown all over the country. So people 3,000 miles away from you are going to learn about your products or service. So you know, if people, you know, if you're a pizzeria, then somebody 1,000 miles away is going to learn about how great your pizza is, but too bad, they're not going to call and order anything from you. So Google AdWords allows you to do the geographic targeting. It allows you, like I say, that per keyword, you can say how much you're willing to spend. So some keywords may bring you clients that are worth more than others. So for my business, for data, when we did data recovery, I would pay more for data recovery clicks than I would for, let's say, laptop repair clicks. Why? Because data recovery was worth more than laptop repair was. So I was willing to spend more for Baltimore data recovery, help I need data recovery. I was willing to pay more for those keywords because they brought me more money. Laptop repair didn't bring me as much money, so you know, I was willing to pay less. So let's say it was $2 for Baltimore laptop repair and $8 for Baltimore data recovery. So now that you've geographically targeted your AdWords and you've set the per word limit, how much you're willing to pay per click, then you tell Google how much you are willing to pay per day. So are you willing to spend $5 per day? Are you willing to spend $100 per day, $1,000 per day? It all depends on what your budget is. So you'll say, this is how much I'm willing to pay per keyword, and then I will only spend a total of $25, $50, $100 per day. So that's why Google is such a great form of advertising, because, and this is what makes it important and good and wonderful, is people only see your advertising when they go to Google and they type in search words about the product or service you offer. So your ad is not, you know, if you're doing computer repair, your advertisement is not showing up when somebody types in Baltimore pizza delivery. My ad would not show up there. It would only show up if somebody said Baltimore laptop repair, Baltimore data recovery. So it only shows up when people are actually interested. You only pay per click. You don't pay any of this cost per impression. So no matter how many times your ad shows up, you only pay when somebody clicks and actually goes to your site. So you're only paying for visitors. And then on top of that, you can do the geographic targeting. You can say how much you're willing to pay per per keyword, and you say how much you're willing to pay per day. So when I was running my business, this was very important because some days we needed more business. So I would up the what I paid per day to $250 per day because we needed to bring in business so that my employees had something to do. Well, then my employees would get swamped, and I would just turn it off. I would just hit pause, and no advertisements would go out. So we would have so much work that we could barely keep up. I could pause the advertising right then and there. No more ads showed up, and so we could get caught up with the work that we needed to do. So I mean that's what makes Google so great. If you put out a newspaper ad, if it actually does anything for you, a lot of times it doesn't do anything for you. But if it really does, if it brings you people, you can't turn it on and off. If you get a flood of people and you can't keep up with the new business, there's nothing you can do. Your ad just runs. It just brings people in. Period. Whereas with Google, you know, if it's not working properly, you can tweak it. You can, like I say, tweak it every hour, tweak it every day. If it's working too well, you can pause it right then and there, and then, you know, the business stops coming in. So Google, that's why Google AdWords is so powerful. Again, yes, Yahoo has the same type of service as Google AdWords, and Bing has the same type of service as Google AdWords. Honestly, who cares? Nobody uses Bing. They say it's 10% of the search market at best. And again, with Yahoo, they might have 20% of the search market at best. But I don't know anybody who uses Yahoo or Bing, really, on a day-to-day basis. So, especially as a small business owner, you have a lot of things to keep track of. Google owns 64% of the search market, at a minimum. They own the internet, so AdWords is the best way to go. The one warning I will give you is when you go to set up your AdWords campaign, you'll have an option. You'll have two options. One is to show up in the search results, like I was telling you. The other option is to show up in something called the content network. Now, the content network can either be very good for you, or most likely it is very horrible and it's a miserable waste of your money. What the content network is when you go to certain websites, like you've come to EliTheComputerGuy.com. If you notice on one of the sides somewhere, there are Google ads on the side of this web page. Well, that's the content network. When somebody clicks on one of those ads, when you pay Google, Google then pays the website. So I get a little money whenever you click one of these ads. Now, if you're doing a product, let's say you're selling a piece of software to download, the content network may be very good for you because let's say, like one of these guys, you're selling backup software to download. So this might be useful. If you're like I was, where you have a shop and you're looking for people to come in and buy your product or service, the content network is normally very, very bad, very bad. The first thing is there's a huge rate of incorrect traffic, I should say. People like me, I'm not doing this, but in order to make money, they'll have their buddies, their friends or brothers or sisters or hackers click on all these little ads just so they get money, because you pay whenever it gets clicked, so they'll get people to click on these ads just so that they can make money. You lose money, they make money. The other thing is it's not nearly as focused as those search ads. So when you come to my website, the ad might show up, or it'll just show up on just really weird, bizarre websites that may have absolutely nothing to do with your product or service. So I saw this with some of my construction clients where they had paid for the content network. The problem is they would show up on websites about windows, they show up on websites about doors and all that because they were construction companies. Well, the people that went to those websites weren't necessarily looking for construction companies, they were looking for companies to buy windows and doors from. So when they clicked through, they weren't getting what they wanted, and so they would just leave automatically. And so you'd see a lot of this where you'd see 200 visitors came from the content network through Google, but then they'd stay 1 second. They'd literally come in, they'd look at the website, and then they would leave. So the content network for most people is not worth it. The content network is all that little advertising. So again, Google AdWords, very good, very, very refined, great advertising. Content network, probably stay away from. So that was a class on Intro to Web Marketing. We went over things like StumbleUpon, AdWords. We went over that one of the best things that you can do is simply put your website and email address onto all the normal marketing literature that you already have out there. Web marketing is the best form of advertising out there, period. I've used all of them. Like I said, I've had billboards, I've had radio ads, I've had newspaper ads, I've had magazine ads. I've done it all. Web marketing is the one that I will stand by because it works. It's not about being a computer guy, it's about being a businessman. And as a businessman, I will say web marketing works. I will also say web marketing, web advertising is like all other forms of advertising. The advertising salespeople that are going to come knocking on your door are the same bastards, no matter whether they're selling newspaper ads or they're selling banner ads. They're horrible people that just need to be hit with a ruler, hit with a skunk, I don't know, hit with spam. So web marketing, web advertising is very good, but when people come knocking on your door and they say, we'll give you 50,000 impressions for only $500, that sounds great. The actual results will probably be pretty miserable. So just keep that in mind, and that's, as I've said, that's why you need the web analytics. You need to be able to track how people are coming to your website so you can find out if the salesperson is really just kind of selling you a load of crap. Google AdWords is by far the best way to do advertising on the internet. Again, you have to remember, target your advertising geographically. You don't want, most people at least, don't want their ad going out all over the United States. It doesn't matter if somebody finds out about your service 3,000 miles away, they're not going to get in the car and drive to your shop. Make sure when you start playing with Google AdWords that you're very conservative. Google AdWords can go through a lot of money quick. When you set up your account, you give them your credit card number. And so they have a defined time, but normally for me, every time I got to about the $300 to $500 mark, they would simply pull the money out of my credit card. So when you start bidding for keywords, start low. So start bidding for keywords at, let's say, 25 cents per keyword and a $10 a day limit, and see what that gives you. If that's not giving you enough, go up to $1 per keyword at $10 a day and see what happens. At the height of my use of Google AdWords, I was paying up to $15 per click and $250 per day in advertising. Now you don't, I know, no, don't worry. It doesn't have to be that bad. Remember, I had 6 employees. We were doing lots of work, and so Google AdWords really was worth it. It was worth $250 a day to bring in the amount of business that we were bringing in. But I actually started at 25 cents per click and $5 a day. But as time went by, I slowly played with the numbers, I played with the keywords, and I went up, and again, all the way up to $15 per click and $250 per day. But I did that because it was effective, because it worked. So that was a class on web marketing. There will be another class that will be more in depth, depending on how confident you feel right now. You can go out, you can start playing with this stuff. I would suggest you start playing with the free stuff, start playing with social networking and that type. If you do go into Google AdWords, just do it very slowly. So I'll see you at the next class, and I hope you learned something.